Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Ma'am Kini. So we are from Group 2. Today we will present our findings regarding the gender-based approach or GBA material. But before we begin, let me introduce the member of our group. First, there is Lisa Betanian, and second is myself, which is Evina Aini. I think that's all. Without any further ado, let's go straight to the next slide. Um, So, what is GBA? GBA, or genre-based approach, is a method that focuses on how language is used to achieve specific communicative purposes in recurring social actions. According to Liu and Chen 2022, a genre is a type of text like narrative, report, or argument that follows recognizable pattern because it appears in similar contexts. So instead of only correcting grammar or asking students to rewrite draft, GBA teaches students how texts are structured and why writers choose certain language depending on audience and purposes. It is based on systemic functional linguistics, which emphasize that language choices are always influenced by social context. This means form and meaning are never separated. To teach this effectively, GBA uses the teaching and learning cycle, or TLC, which includes modeling, joint construction, and independent construction. In the modeling stage, students analyze a model text to understand its structure and features. Then, in joint construction, the teacher and students produce a text together so learners can practice the genre with support. Finally, in independent construction, students write on their own using the pattern they have learned. And now, why is GBA so popular in second language classrooms today? It is provide clear and explicit support for learners, which is especially helpful for students who struggle with writing. It also links language form with communicative purpose, making writing more meaningful. And also, the third one, studies show that GBA improve accuracy, vocabulary use, and organization. And last, it also works well with exam-oriented context, and it's flexible enough for teachers to adapt and different needs. In short, GBA is effective because it teaches writing as meaningful social practice by guiding students through a clear cycle and gradually reducing support. The approach helps learners understand how texts work and eventually write confidently on their own. For the next slide will be presented by my friend Rona.
All right, thank you, Effie. So the next one is a theoretical foundation of GBA. So the GBA is separated by two main theories. First is SFL, or Systematic Functional Linguistic by Holiday, and the second is Social Cultural by Levygotsky. So from SFL, GBA takes the idea that language is not just grammar, but a tool that people use to achieve social purpose. Every text has a function and is shaped by its social context. That's why GBA teaches students to understand and produce different text types based on their purpose in real life. And the second one, from Vygotsky, GBA adopts the idea that learning happens through the interactions and support. Vygotsky explained that students learn best when they receive scaffolding from teachers or peers. So this is matched with the joint construction stage in GBA, where teachers and students build a text together before students write on their own. So GBA combines real-life language used from SFL with interactive and supported learning from Vygotsky. And then next slide, please. So the next one is GBA assumption about second language learning. So the first assumption is language learning seen as a social activity. So according to Highline, 2003, learning a second language is a social activity influenced by the context where the language is used. This means that students must understand the situation and the purpose of communications and the structure of different text types, because its purpose leads to different language choices, like using simple present tense and technical nouns for report text, or action verbs and steps for procedure text. So learner needs to exposure to real and authentic text to understand how language actually work in real social context. And then the second one is importance of genre knowledge because every genre has its own culture and pattern. When students know the purpose and structure of a genre, they can select the correct vocabulary, grammar, and text organizations, and this helps them to communicate effectively and develop stronger language skills. And the third one is the role of teacher and scaffolding. So exposure alone is not enough. So that teacher um, support becomes very essential. Based on Vygotsky theory, teachers act as mediators who guide students throughout the academic literacy. They provide scaffolding or step-by-step support because students cannot immediately understand complex genres by themselves. So that is why they need more knowledgeable others like teachers or peers. And in this case, teachers play important role to explain the purpose, structure, and language features of each genre, and then gradually reduce the support as students begin to write independently. And then the last one is form support to independence. So when students fully understand the conventions of genre, creativity can emerge, can develop. After receiving enough guidance, they can produce their own text with less scaffolding until they eventually become independent writers. And the next one is our opinion about genre-based approach in um, about the potential of effectiveness of employing GBA in Indonesian school context. So, based on my opinion, the GBA is very suitable for English teaching in Indonesian schools because it will help students understand how language is used in real situations, not just as grammar rules to memorize. Because I think many students in Indonesia know the theory because yeah of the teaching method that focusing on grammar like tenses. So they know the theory but struggle to apply it in real life communications, in real life. Um, yeah. So by this approach, I think it will give them authentic learning through different genres so they can learn the purpose, structure, and language features of its text. And this just makes their English more relevant to everyday life and increase their motivation because they understand why they are learning the language. And I think that's for me. How about you, Effie? What's your opinion about the potential of effectiveness of employing GBA in Indonesian school context?
Uh, Opinion, I think GBA has strong potential in Indonesian schools. Uh, Teaching and learning cycle offers clear access to scaffolding. And students are used to teacher-centered learning, so when they are asked to write independently, they often the TLC stages such as modern construction and also independent construction help them to move gradually from observing helpful to practice support and writing their things. I think this process is helpful because students often know grammar but struggle to organize ideas. By analyzing model text and seeing how teachers build structure and language choices, they learn how to write vocabulary and propose work and build writing. Collaborative pace also matches from students a safe space to contribute without fear of mistakes. For this reason, I think the TLC makes the GBA very icing for writing action in the range. I think that's it for me. And next slide. I think this is the end of the that's probably all we can say about the GBA material. We apologize for any shortcomings and thank you for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.